Oh, yes. Welcome back, one and all. Today I have a surprise review for you. Managed to find the new Transformer Siege Micromaster 10-pack at my local Target. Unfortunately, the Rainmakers weren't there. Literally, the day they got set out, they were all gone. So, a lot of people want to pay $80 for characters that showed up in like one episode of a TV show, including me. So I can't really say anything on that. As you can probably tell, I'm still in the middle of my move, hence the poor lighting and shaky cam. But we're gonna get through this, because when we put our minds together, we can do anything. So anywho, they come in this very unique packaging, very wide yet flat. You got all 10 of these new Micromasters here. 6 of them are Autobots, while 4 are Decepticons. You can see that they're all redecos or retools of existing Micromasters, so you're not going to see anything very new here. But what you will get are some really neat, obscure character callouts. You know, they went with not just new characters from the North American Micromaster selection from the 80s. They did a lot of Japanese ones too, so that's interesting. All right, take a look at the sides. At an angle here. See, it's got the names of all of the different Micromasters on here. Oops. So that's cool. On the back of the box, you have the full spread of all the different characters in their vehicle and robot modes, as well as their combined weapon modes. Yay. Interestingly, each pair of Micromasters is given a siege designator, right? So you got like siege number 58, 59, 60. So, you know, these account for 5 of the missing siege numbers. Then a little bit of crossplay here with old Red Alert. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and open the box up. We'll see what the instructions are like, and then we'll take a look at each one of these guys. And then I'll give you some very useful trivia about their names to, you know, impress all your friends at parties. And boom, time jump. New house, new setup, better lighting, so let's finish this off the right way. So you can see we got our guys laid out in their vehicle modes, separated by teams. Before we get too into those, quick look at the instruction booklet. See, pretty good size, about a leader class size. It's done up in that, like, bright, I wouldn't say sky blue, which is a very light blue that they used for like the mini cons and other neutral characters. Not really a fan of the color, but I get why they do it. Separate them from the Autobots and Decepticons. And yeah, just a big old sheet. All these different transformations for all the Micromasters. You got some on the back. Like so. Wanted to show off the stellar weapon modes and the names for them, because they're so good, and I love their weapon modes. Alright, so this one, which is formed by Slyhopper and Nightflight, it's called the Dual-Edged Soundbreaker Sword. I guess because, you know, break the sound barrier for jets. Get it? Alright, this one here, the Gravitronic Roublemaker Cannon. Fun times. This long one is the Power Shot Plasma Cannon. The other jet sword, formed by the Autobots, is the Ultrasonic Shredder Blade. And then lastly, we have our 2 new mold guys, forming the Dual Port Scrape Grinder. Scrape Grinder. Sounds like a household tool. Not really like a gun. Alright, so because we got 10 characters to go through, it'll be very brief, not going to do transformations this time. Just going to break these guys up by team and or mold choice, compare them with the originals that they come from, if I can, and then just get some final thoughts. And of course, I haven't forgotten the name trivia. Might have been a couple weeks, but I still remember. Alright, here we have the Decepticon jets. You have Slyhopper, formerly known as Skyhopper, and Nightflight. And then you have the Autobot jets Overair and Ground Shaker. And in the front, you have the original uses of the mold. You have Visper and Stormcloud for comparison. So these are the vehicle modes. You can see they all have unique paint schemes, designs, very cool. And now I'm going to transform them to the robot modes and talk a little more about them. All right, here are the jets in their robot modes. Decepticons, Autobots, originals. So we'll start with Slyhopper, this guy right here. You can see he's just a straight read echo of Stormcloud. And the original Slyhopper toy was a Decepticon Micromaster, though different mold from Stormcloud, and he was part of a Micromaster base like playset thing. So he's just kind of chilling by himself. Nightflight here is a read echo of Whisper or Visper, and interestingly, he's actually part of the original team that these guys come from. Because if you don't know, Micromaster teams used to be 4 characters, not 2, and they would consist of like 2 pairs of gang molded guys. So yeah, these guys that were originally gang molded, and then you had old Nightflight here, and he was gang molded with another jet called Tailwind. So this is the closest we've come to completing a full 4-bot team for the Micromasters. They haven't been doing that with this line, but it also means we're probably pretty unlikely to see this team completed now, since they just kind of threw one of the characters out there as a read echo. So what can you do? All right, on the Autobot side, you have this guy, Overair. Overair is a character from Transformers Zone, so more obscure Micromasters from a very small toy line. And Overair was part of this trend with the Zone Micromasters to take certain characters and just faction swap them and give them a different name and make a new character. So they were like more or less identical to the original. So Overair was basically just a faction swap of an Decepticon Micromaster called Airwave. So the more you know. I also just realized that this guy's wings aren't folded back. Shame on me. Worst reviewer ever. Don't quit your day job, am I right? Anywho, and then lastly over here we have Ground Shaker, who's just a straight read echo of Visper. He was gonna say like a Transylvanian accent, right? Like Visper. And Ground Shaker is another like solitary character that was originally part of a Micromaster base set. So overall, these are pretty cool little call-outs and homages. As neat as it is to see a member of their team get brought in, it's probably the most disappointing because we're probably just gonna get teased with ever completing that team. Oh well. All right, next up we have the other Decepticons in this set. We've got Cratermaker and Fireline. They're here along with the Autobots that the molds originated from, Flak and Top Shot. So you can see pretty radically different color schemes. These are more bright, almost neon in some cases. These guys are much more muted, more typical military colors. So you don't feel like you're getting the same toy twice necessarily. That's always good. All right, here we have our guys in their robot modes. Again, their colors are quite radically different between each other. And here you can see some more difference because you might notice there's a new head sculpt going on here for each of these new guys. So these two are a bit different than the jets we just looked at. They're both original characters. They're not previously existing Micromasters. Though, asterisk, they're kind of almost pre-existing characters. So first, we'll take a look at Cratermaker here. And he's interesting because he has the colors of another Micromaster called Powerbomb, but he has a newly retooled head that doesn't make him look like Powerbomb, actually makes him look like another completely different Micromaster called Bomb Shock. So I'm not sure what's going on with that. I'm guessing it's some sort of precursor to us getting a bomb shock down the road, maybe? We'll see. And then Fireline over here, he's another weird case. He has the colors of one Micromaster called Gunlift, but the head he utilizes is actually the head used by the Red Heat retool of Top Shot over here. So he's just really all over the place. It's got colors of one guy that hasn't been released in a long time. It's got the head of another guy that has been released. I don't know. They're weird. They're delightful. Let's just love them for what they are, right? All right, our next group are some more Autobots. You have Road Police and Wheelblaze. They're naturally retools of Stakeout and Red Heat. So you got 2 cop cars, 2 fire trucks. All right, now here are the robot modes. I misspoke a second ago. I said that these guys were retools of the older toys. They're actually just straight redecos, so quick correction there. So Road Police is a Japanese Transformer. He was actually part of a Micromaster combiner team, and he combined with 5 of his teammates to form a little mini Gestalt called 6 Turbo. Now obviously this Road Police cannot do that, so again, kind of like before, dashes our hopes for seeing that team completed. Though, you know, weirder things have happened. Maybe they will eventually. This guy's got a few oddities. One, you can see on his legs / back of his police car, has the words police written across it, which is accurate to the old toy. But it's also weird because these toys, these characters are supposed to be on Cybertron, you know, pre-coming to Earth, so it doesn't make much sense that he has English lettering on him. So I think they didn't really think that one through when they were making that homage apparent, but minor nitpick. Then you got Wheelblaze over here, eye-searing yellow with some clashing dark blue. Now Wheelblaze is also a classic character. He was part of a Micromaster combiner duo. Kind of confusing the different combiner types, but the North American Micromaster combiners were 2 Transformers that would connect to form one vehicle mode. And originally they couldn't form like their own vehicle modes. They had to be connected. So he used to combine with a partner called Roadburner to become a yellow fire truck. Now he just becomes one by himself. Again, makes me worried that we won't ever see that pair, you know, recreated, but time will tell. Now, funnily enough, with these two, if you look at the instructions, they actually swapped their names with the last 2 guys on our list. These are Road Police and Wheelblaze, not these 2. So, a lot of little oopsies here and there on this set. All right, and rounding out this set, we have the Autobots Ricon and Irontread. Now, these guys are retools of the Micromaster team consisting of High Jump and Powertrain. And you'll see I don't have them to compare because they're not actually out yet. So these guys are a little weird in that these guys were released before their original mold uses have been made widely available. So, not sure what happened there. And here we have their robot modes. You can see the very dynamic looking little Micromasters. Got this nice silver paint on their chest and on his helmet there. Helps break up the, you know, plain colors a little bit. Ricon's a little back heavy, so you gotta pose him kind of carefully so he doesn't just flop backwards. So, speaking of Ricon, he is actually another original character. You know, that name doesn't go back to any previous characters, however, it is a reference. You see, Irontread here was originally named Ironworks on his G1 toy, and the Ironworks toy had this little logo printed on him that said RI Construction, which is the RI is widely believed to mean Rhode Island, which is the headquarters for Hasbro, who, you know, made those. So even though they took that writing off of this toy, they seem to have given it a life of its own by taking RI Construction, making it Ricon. So, new character, born from a tampograph, I guess. Really weird. These guys both feature retooled heads and chests from the original versions of the mold. Ricon has been retooled to look like another Micromaster character called Hydraulic. Old G1 character, so hopefully we'll get one of those down the line. And then Irontread has had his chest and head retooled to look like a character called Big Hauler. Again, hopefully we'll get one of those. These guys have yet another oddity on their instructions. So in their spot where I point out the names are reversed, not only are the names wrong, but the renders show the actual original versions of the mold, High Jump and Powertrain. So somebody seems to have fallen asleep at the wheel when they made this set. All right, and that's the whole set. All 10 of these new Micromasters that come in this big box. It's a really cool thing to get. It's cheaper than buying them all as 5 individual teams. So a good turnaround there where you're getting more for less. This set is such an odd grab bag of characters. You have returning characters, original characters. You have Micromasters that look like some guys, but are actually different guys. You got one-off members of teams just thrown in there. Some are North American characters, some are Japanese characters. It's a whole lot of craziness, and I love it. Like, I want more like this. When I first heard about the set in the old rumor mill, I immediately thought of those mini-con like multi-packs that they had for the Robots in Disguise line. Not the good one, you know, the bad one. And I was a little worried because those were a little underwhelming because most of the mini-cons that were released weren't new characters or anything. They were the same characters with different color schemes. Luckily, we didn't get that. We got new toys, not just the same ones that have already been released in the line. So that's very cool. It's like a booster pack for your Micromaster collection, and it's fantastic. It really makes this feel like the old, would it be early 90s, I believe, G1 line, where you just collect them all, you know? Again, the selection is kind of random, kind of weird, but if you just want a whole bunch of colorful little Micromasters, this is perfect for that. I hope this does well. I hope Hasbro sees that it does well and they make more of them. Hopefully, you know, mixing up the molds a little bit, using some ones that we haven't already used for this pack, or at least try to minimize that. You know, you could always have a Howlback and Garboil redeco from our good friends Ravage and Laserbeak. Always possible. There's just so many different things you can do. Get a Rewind and Eject from Rumble. So yeah, I personally fully recommend picking this up. It's a little pricey just because of how much you're getting. It's $40 for a bunch of Micromasters, but you know, them's the breaks in 2019. I'm really happy I was able to find the set. I'm really happy I was able to show it off to you guys. Let me know what you think of these new toys down in the comments section, or what you thought of the review. If you liked the review, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Let YouTube know that you're enjoying this content. If you want to see more reviews like this or any other Transformers videos, make sure to hit the subscribe button and tap the notification bell to ensure you're always given a heads up when I post something new. I thank you all for joining me, and with all that said, I will see you next time. What? No, that's it. No, there's nothing else. No, I did the vehicle modes, did the robot modes. I don't know. There's nothing else to see here. No, weapon? No. Fine. Okay, so here are the weapon modes. My favorite part of these toys. I'm just gonna go ahead, show them off, and give you guys their official names. So this right here is called Head Kibble. So that's what that gun's called. This one right here is called Double Head Kibble, or double the unsightly mess. This one right here is called a 2-truck pileup. And these two are known as winners by default. So there you go. The official Hasbro sanctioned names of the official weapon modes of these Micromasters.